Hey guys, welcome back. How's everybody
In
doing
sunny
out there?
Colorado.
Yes. Yes, welcome from Colorado.
That's the cue. That's and everybody's going to say where they're from.
That's right. That's
Evening.
India,
So
Devon.
curious. Nice.
Does that mean Titus is from Hawaii?
Ooh, maybe. I don't think
HI.
so though. I'm looking forward to learning all kinds of fun facts about Mars drones because I have a feeling that at least half the people here will be more knowledgeable about such a thing than I.
Yeah, I'm hoping you guys come in with some solid facts because I can't say I know much about what's going on over there or up there, out there, that. I don't know about.
Over there.
Yeah. South Louisiana, Belgium, Halifax. Tangled, aka the Porsche guy, is here. Louisiana, Wales, Berlin. Wow.
Holy cow. What a range.
Ooh. Colin's from Ireland, but sitting in quarantine hotel in Norway. Yikes. Colin, I hope you get out without any Norwegian COVID.
Yeah, heard Norwegian COVID is well, it's not as bad. At least it's got socialized medicine.
Yeah, I don't know that it's a specific strain, but I'd imagine that's what you're at risk of there. So, uh, all right, what time is it? Hey, it's noon. We could just we don't have to wait anymore. We could just go. Do what we
Yeah, the sooner
want.
you start though, the sooner you'll be done. And I don't know if that's good or bad.
That's true. This is gonna be an easy model. We better go back here for a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. Hey guys, how's it going? I am Aaron. I get the great pleasure of hanging out with you guys every week and doing some modeling in SketchUp, and that's what we're looking forward to doing right here today. With me, as always, is my buddy Jody,
Hey, that's me. Hey, everybody.
and we are part of the SketchUp team, and we get to do live models every week. So if you're new to joining us, that is what our plan is, and welcome. And if you've been here before, then you can ignore everything I just said, even though we're after the point where you could ignore it. But yeah, welcome back. So yeah, this is going to be a good one. Uh, this was actually Jody's idea. Give full blame. I mean, credit to Jody for this one. Um,
I just I just picked something easy so that we could wrap up early and I could take my afternoon nap.
that's priorities. Whatever your priorities are, they're what drive you. Um, yeah, so we're gonna take a look at this helicopter. I only have a couple reference images. I couldn't find any like good illustrations. I did find some, but they turned out to be, I don't know if they were a prototype or something like that. Um, but they actually look like machine drawings of actual pieces and stuff that they may have used to put a prototype together. Very different in the end from the images we'll actually use though. So yeah, I'm looking forward to learning some stuff about Mars and Mars helicopter and the most recent missions. Hopefully you guys know about that because my brain's full of how to model stuff and I don't have room for the other things. So,
So Neil already commented the camera quality looks a lot better. So I think
oh
your
good.
little bitrate twitch is your switcheroony is good.
Yeah, well, we're constantly evolving and trying to make stuff better, but I realized, a little embarrassed, that the bit rate that I was transmitting at was actually like a fraction of what it is recommended to be at. So hopefully nobody has any issue with quality or anything or like buffering issues, but hopefully those of you who can receive it are getting a better image than what we normally put out because uh, yeah, hopefully that should be better. I don't know if I like that as much because like if you can see this as well as I can, you can actually really you can make out the experience I got down here in my chin and maybe some
you look a little bit you look a little pallid today. Are you feeling okay, Aaron?
oh yeah. Dang, gotta maybe I do like I prefer presenting myself in lower quality. That could be the preferred method.
Well, you know, if it makes you feel any better, every time I see you, the first thing that comes to my mind is low quality.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
I betcha.
Gotta stay hydrated.
Oh yeah, good call. Need to find something crunchy to eat.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, go get those dogs barking. All right. Yeah, yeah. Neil confirmed. You can see the. I prefer to refer to it as very light dark brown rather than calling it gray.
It's just the color hasn't come in yet. Still
Transom offered to
resolving.
make me a walker out of wood. I will keep
Nice.
that on note. Thanks, Transom. Wow. So I see where you guys are at
Tough
today.
crowd. This is their dark place.
Okay. Transom's recommending some shoe polish. Yeah, if we're going high quality, I may have to put in the budget for some hair dye and makeup. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
You can
Okay,
also start adding fine print to your t-shirts.
that's true. All right, let's see if this helps. If I go to a smaller me, uh-oh, you know what? I didn't change. I moved my desktop a little bit, and I don't think I changed my overhead camera. Hold on one second. See if we can get that into a slightly. We're gonna get a little bit less desktop than normal, but hold up 1 second. I'm all wired in here. We're not in the wireless age here inside of my guest room, so. But I think I can slide this back ever so slightly without making the whole thing fall apart. Nah, maybe not. That sounds dangerous. I think I'm gonna hurt something or break something if I do too much more of that. Is that a little better? That's a little better. Okay. That'll function. Cool. I forgot about that. That whole other camera thing. All right.
How many cameras do you need anyway?
Apparently, 1, 2, 3, 4. One's dedicated just to you, Jody. That one down there. All right.
Sweet.
So we've talked and poked stuff enough. Let's model something there. It's Lakshmi's asking if I like cameras. It's not that I like them. It's well, okay. Here's total transparency. Here's what it was. We had a videographer, a guy who actually like went to school for video production, working for us, named Matt, and he's the one who actually established kind of what we could do in a live stream. And I've totally just copied what he set up a couple years ago.
This is all years old tech too,
That's
or at least
a
concepts.
lot of it is. Yeah, the concepts. We've replaced some of the technology. That camera's new, but yeah. Anyhow, rolling. All right. So this guy, this thing we're gonna model. I'm gonna go ahead and start by importing an image. I don't remember which one is which. We'll just go with this one. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do the thing I do a lot, which is I'm actually gonna load this in as a watermark. So I'm gonna go to my styles, edit, go to the watermark tab, and I'm gonna load this in. The reason I'm choosing a watermark rather than bring it in as a reference photo is it's not a photo that I would want to use to like do a photo match on. There's not an extreme amount of, well, there's actually, if you look at it, the thing itself, there's not a lot there that I would even want to reference as a photo match. You know, I have a box here. That's not going to be complicated. I have a rectangle here, not difficult. These propeller blades, I'm going to have to kind of do all on their own. So there's not a lot there to get out of photo match. So I'm not really worried about that. I'm also, it's not like it's a straight on picture where I can pull dimensions or references off of. It's a 3/4 view, so that doesn't help very much. So that's kind of the process that I go through in my brain to figure out how do I want to bring this into SketchUp. So looking at it like this, it makes the most sense to just have a reference photo down the corner that I can look at and get some just general dimension, or not dimension so much as like reference sizes. This size to this size looks about right, that kind of thing. When that's the case, then that's when I go to my watermark. I'm going to put it in the background. I am going to put it in the lower right corner. That way you guys can see it and I can see it. Yeah, and I'm not going to be able to get a detail for some of this stuff, so that looks pretty good. I'm just going to drop it down there. That gives me plenty more space to model in here without going off of where I need to.
Why do you reckon that bat golf club guy there has a hole in it? Why does one foot a holy foot?
I was imagining
There's a hole in one, I guess you could say.
there is. I was thinking about that because I was looking at it, trying to figure out what those feet looked like. And I'm imagining it has something to do with maybe how it's deployed or shipped out, you know? So maybe this is like a tie down, like there's a clamp that holds onto it and then it releases it and it only needs to hold one. I don't know. And it is.
We can make stuff up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, nobody's going to correct us.
That's true. That's the unit control foot. And yeah, it's so the NASA engineers, when it comes back, they take turns wearing it on a chain, actually is what it is.
It's a little bling. Okay, so that's the next question is, how big is it? Did you see anything that actually says how big it is?
I didn't. I was actually going to throw that out as some trivia that someone else can figure out for us.
Trivia where we don't have the answer, so make something up.
That's right. Okay, so I'm gonna start. Obviously, looking at this, it seems like the place to start is with this box right here, and it does look square. So it looks like what I got. I'm gonna kind of pick an arbitrary value, but I am gonna stick to that drawing a square. So I'm gonna go big, of course, and then we'll scale to the right size when we actually get the right numbers from the crowd.
So the internet just said that the rotor span is 4 feet.
Wow.
Tip to tip for one rotor.
That's
a lot bigger than you thought, isn't it?
That is a lot bigger than I thought. Okay, well that's what we'll go with. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with some basic geometry here. Going to start with this this square here, and I'm going to offset that in a little ways, something like that. And if you look right here, you can actually see that these legs come out of like a square surface. So this is not actually a square here. The corners are knocked off for these look like kind of universal joints come out of there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do that now. I'm going to come back a set amount, and I want to do it the same on both sides. So I'm just going to grab that line, copy it over here, connect those two together. And then once I have that connected, what I can do is grab it with rotate. I'm going to come off the midpoint of this line, bring that down, find the midpoint of this line, bring it across, find the middle, and then I come here, option rotate at 90 degrees. It's a square, so all four sides should be the same, so I should be able to do it once, then type 3x. There we go. So again, this is initial geometry. This can all be changed as I start putting it together. If I take that, pull that up like that, they look like they're actually a little bit smaller than that. So maybe I'll come out like a little bit tinier. Oops. There we go. Take that, same thing, come down here, come across here. There we go, 3x. And then just get rid of these lines on the inside. Make it a little bit tinier. Kind of feel like in between those two is what I actually want. All right, so I'm gonna do it from here. I'm just gonna knock off a tiny bit. I'm gonna inference and go parallel to that. Grab that little section, and one last time. So sometimes people, so there's not, because I drew this as just a rectangle, rectangles don't have a center snap point. I could have actually drawn, because it's a square, I could have drawn as a four-sided polygon. Then I'd actually have a center point to reference. Probably should have done that. A lot of people in that situation like to go in and throw in reference lines that cross in the middle, so I have a redundant snap point that I can keep using. I don't mind hovering for a few seconds to find the inference point to use, but if that's you, if you like that, then, that is an option. All right, so all right, seems like I'm fairly close there. A little taller. All right, I'm going to take that and make that into a component, which I will call the body. Whew. Man, tired out. Maybe we should do the rest of this in part 2 next week.
That sounds like a good plan. I can start my nap early.
There we go. That's my biggest fear, Jody. I don't want to deprive you of your nap.
If anybody needs beauty sleep, it is me. I need a lot.
I wasn't going to be the one to point that out, but that would have been rude. All right. So it looks like I said, these look like kind of universal joints or something like that. So allows to a lot of movement, I guess, in there, but it's really hard to see. So there's some parts where, I mean, unless you guys are able to find some just killer imagery and put it on our forum, we do have a post going up on our forum right now, forums.sketchup.com, where I don't know if you're able to see some of the details of like the spinny bits. I think that's a term they use at NASA a lot.
Yeah, I have actually seen it as on several technical briefs that I was reading.
So I don't know. I'm going to kind of make up some geometry here. I'll put it as a component. So if you guys do come across some good imagery, then I could add that geometry in here. I'm going to start. I just put a center line here to reference. I'm just going to throw in a circle that goes just shy of this full size, something like that. And then I'm going to move it straight up because it looks like kind of connects kind of like that. That comes out a little ways. And then what it looks like is it looks like it kind of has the edges kind of chopped off and then rounded over. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start by cutting the sides because that is the easiest thing to do using just the circle pieces. So it looks like it does something like this. My sizes aren't quite right yet, but I got extra size here to work with. And then it looks like the end kind of rounds over like a half circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of this and temporarily group it. And I'm making a group because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come and draw a line like this. I'm going to draw an arc top to bottom. And I'm going to pull that arc straight out, perpendicular to... Actually, this doesn't matter where I pull it out because I just need to pull it out to a half circle. I'm working at 45, so that's why it's snapping all weird like this. But all I need to do is get out here till I get a half circle and take that half circle and rotate it to 45 degrees. The other thing I could have done there, what I could have done is I could have taken that and I could have in the group realigned my axis, but that seemed like a lot of work rather than just rotating it. So, all right, I'm going to take that, bring it this way, bring it this way, and then I'm going to grab all of that, make it a group, and I'm going to slide it back along the axis like this. And I think...
So you want to hear some facts about the Ingenuity while we're going here?
Sure.
Found the NASA page for it. I was actually trying to find out if they actually do use that word, but they don't appear to in this particular document. So the way that this thing is able to fly is it's got 2 rotors or 4 rotors. It says I don't only see. I guess I don't know.
2
It
pairs.
says 4 rotors.
Yeah.
Carbon fibre that spin at 2,400 RPM. seems like that's way more than enough to take off your head.
That's pretty quick. There's not a
Yeah,
whole lot of
it's
heads
real
to
quick.
take off on Mars at this point, though. So
Yeah, that's true. Like hardly any, I think. This is, and it says that this is only a test flight, or this is a flight test. It's only up there right now just to see if it works. Seems like a, just imagine if it got there and it didn't work.
who is supposed to charge the batteries before deployment?
Dang it!
They're still in the
Yeah.
charger and the wall and the USB thing. Dang. All right, so I'm gonna
Or they
take.
took the wrong wrong USB cable. It uses micro, and all they took was a mini or
Oh,
USB-C.
we upgraded USB-C last week. Remember? Oh. All right, I'm gonna
Wah,
take
wah.
both these pieces and explode them. And then I'm gonna grab this piece, which is that round piece, and this, and this. Nope, that's already broken. So just these two pieces. Intersect face with selection, and then I'm going to start erasing some things off and just cut back to this. So a lot of times people want to use solid tools, which I'm all for. I like solid tools a lot, but there's a lot of situations where, like this, to cut this away, what I would have had to do with that arc that I created is create a mask outside of it so I could use it as a cutter. Sometimes intersecting to make those two pieces meld is kind of the easiest solution. All right, so what I want to do, what I'm thinking is, this won't be fully functional, but like I said, it's really hard to see. Oh, I got some, Andy posted some blown up images. Okay, no, it's actually, this is totally wrong. Good to know. Totally different shape than this. So I'm going to undo a couple times because it kind of looks like what it actually is something more. It was fun. It was fun to learn that thing, how to do that thing that we're not going to use. All right, it actually looks like, so I'll come in here. We got something more like this.
So just like looking at these zoomed in images, first of all, there's little nubbins on the rotors. That's curious. Oh, I guess I see how they say 4 because it's not 1 from tip to tip. It's 2 joined at the middle. But what are those nubbins there for? Little antlers.
That's because of which is very important in stuff. I, of course,
Okay,
have
all right,
no idea
sounds good.
whatsoever. So
And
that's
then
the truth.
and then like the close up on all these, you can see all these great these great material, kind of like whatever they're made out of, and it feels like the first time I can actually call it space age materials.
That's
Like
true.
these are literally space age materials.
I think
I
I'm
wonder if you
guessing
could
carbon fiber is a big piece of this because if you're trying to fly
maybe.
in less air, I'd imagine you got to keep it light. Um,
I guess it's probably true.
I'm gonna define the axis for this. So what I want to do is,
Everything's made out of rock on Mars, from what I've seen. So you also need to make it durable because if you hit one of those rocks,
I would imagine so.
yeah.
All right, that's gonna allow me to draw
But the rocks
its.
weigh less on Mars, so I guess that's something.
That's also true. So does the copter. So when you do, well, I don't know. I have one of those little teeny copter things, and my big move with it is to have it go, and I've mastered that both indoors and out. I can drive it into the ground in any weather condition. Um, and as we were talking about, that's doing it live, not with a multi-minute delay, which has got to add a little bit of frustration or stress to the copter pilot. feel like something's just
Great
off on
picture here at the end of the forum post showing the actual reality of what's happening on Mars.
Oh yeah? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
We have to look at it. It's pretty funny.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to take this piece, slide over a little bit. So what happens with this is it does kind of narrow. So what I'm going to do is put it in like this, grab this piece. Let's see what happens if I do this. If I just go Option, shrink that down a little bit. It's kind of what I got going on there. And then what happens is, I'm going to soften this, erase that and soften that. What happens then is it's like a clamp. It's like a, so this whole part is cut out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to copy this over, I'm going to grab this piece right here, copy it over the same amount, and then I'll grab this, same amount, and then this, and all right. Then I'm just going to delete this because I know it's going to be easy enough to just draw a couple lines to close that up like that. Then get rid of these extra lines here, and then hopefully last thing is right click, orient faces. There we go. So that is kind of the quick and dirty version of what they got on there. They do have, I'm kind of thinking about this, it does kind of blend back into this piece. It's not hard like this, it's not a like right corner. I'm just kind of wondering how tough it would be to do something like, I don't know.
I feel like this is almost exactly what it looked like in the NASA design rooms, like 4 years ago or whenever they started designing the Ingenuity.
Probably. Just the multiple guys with SketchUp up on their screen.
And they're just sort of saying maybe do something like,
Yeah.
and just sort of humming and hawing as they draw lines here and
What if we
there.
just did a
I'm sure there
thing?
was stitching involved.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Lofting's for suckers. They know how to do it at NASA. All right, so I'm just trying to look at like how we could do this collar just simply. Actually, I think I went the wrong direction with my stitching.
Stitching the wrong way. But you're a master of stitching, so that's confusing.
I am, but you know, it's okay to restitch.
Okay. All right.
Like
So Snow
whoops.
Tiger brings up a good point. It's like we're acting like this is going to be a short stream, but as soon as you start trying to design those rotors,
Well, yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right, so yeah, something like that might work. All right, so I'm gonna soften all of that. Oh, this is just part of that. So, okay. So I'm going to take that, make it a group real quick. And the reason I want to make it a group is because I want to go position it, and it's going to get a little awkward, I think. Yeah. So I'm going to take that piece. Oh, you know what else I want to do? I want to reset my axes too. Nope, I want to put my axes back where they were. So I'm going to go like this. That way I can take this piece. I'm going to flip it over like this and then just use scale to bring it, whoop, wrong scale handle. There we go. Bring that down to -1. And now I have these two pieces which I can take those two, and I'm just going to draw a line right here, because I should, because this is based off a square, I should be able to take that, copy it like that, 3x, and then have those all the way around. Yeah. And now I can grab all those groups, right click, explode, and then I'm just going to grab the whole thing like this. Soften smooth edges. Turn that off, on. I guess that's pretty close.
Nice. You might have a fallback. If you can't pretend to look like an architect, you could pretend to look like a NASA engineer.
That's true. I don't know if I could claim that engineer. What's the term for a guy?
So
a guy what draws stuff.
I was figuring you could use engineer in the sense of a guy that drives trains.
Oh, I do have a whistle like that somewhere around here. Doot, doot.
All right.
I'm
Draftsman. Snow Tiger says draftsman. I'm going to go with that. I agree with that one.
That sounds good. I am breaking this surface like this because I would like to make it a solid. Plus, you can see I got some weird stuff going on because of my internal faces. So I'm going to try to hit Solid Inspector. Fix. There we go. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. I don't know what happened on the inside here. Just ignore that. Pretend that was never there. Okay, so there we go. We got it pretty quick. I mean, there's a couple ways I could have done that. If I had seen this better photo beforehand, it would have been a little easier, but I didn't. I saw it when I saw it. So, but that worked out okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to create these two. And then I'm going to grab this ring. I'm going to copy it from this side to this side. There we go. I'm going to push this through to here. Push this through to here. And just give this a little bump like that. And a little bump over here. All right, so that's kind of what they got going on there. Then we get into some really weird stuff. Because on these legs, this leg right here, I think this is like a shock absorber because it's two pieces of metal kind of pinned together like this. And I'm thinking that's supposed to be to like give it a little bit of, they don't want total rigidity there, I don't think. So we're going to design kind of a shape that copies that. First, I'm going to go, you know what, I talked about this earlier. I might as well just do this. If I draw a line like that, I'm going to go, oh no, here's what I should do. I'm just going to grab all of this and I'm going to scoot it that way, center, this way. The origin. There we go. That way I don't need these lines here, but I can still take this. I guess I do this like this. All right. That gets me those four. And they are, did I make that? I never made them components, did I? Oh, okay. So somebody was asking about this last week.
That's embarrassing.
Well, I made them groups. So it's a start. It's not raw geometry. It's something. I got to take my wins where I can. So somebody asked about this on the last stream. This piece right here. When I do this, because I do this on occasion where I make something a group where it should be a component, if you pick on a group and there's multiple copies, exact copies of the group, if I haven't changed anything, it will tell me that I have multiples of that same group. So here it tells me there's 4 of these groups in the model. Selection Toys, which is an extension from TomTom, available through the extension warehouse, has a piece of it. There's also a groups and components, I think, extension that has the same thing. But it has this option called group copies where I can say convert into components. So I'm going to do select all. It's going to grab all 4 of the copies, right click, group copies, convert into components, And now if I pick on it, it tells me that they are components and there's 4 of them. So if I decide afterwards I want to come back here and edit or make a change, I can do that without having to, basically start over. So that's a great extension. I don't have to go. I mean, honestly, I realize sometimes that the time it takes me to explain what I'm doing, I could have changed it in a different way, but I guess that's all I got is All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just draw a line down here, maybe representing the path of the leg. And as I'm doing this, as I'm looking at this, I'm realizing that this isn't quite, it's either a little bit lower or this lower box is a little bit smaller. Actually, I don't think this is a rectangle up here. I don't know. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna drop this a little bit. I'm gonna push this in a little bit. Do that on all sides, because I don't quite have enough clearance for my leg there. The other thing is it looks like, yeah, that's what I'll do for now. All right, so on this leg, it's got a chunk that goes in here, then it's got that little 2-piece shock absorber chunk, which is kind of cool because it arcs this way, but cut out this way, it's also kind of a egg shape. It's like an ellipse kind of shape. And then that turns into that carbon fiber leg that runs down to this weird little foot. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to draw this on the flat. So I'm going to grab this line I just created, and I'm going to move it so that this is up on the horizontal. I'm going to grab these lines I created, make them into a group temporarily. Well, not temporary. Well, they'll be a component in a second. I guess there's no reason I couldn't make it into a component now. The reason I'm not messing with it is I'm not sure what my modeling process is going to be, because I may end up using something like solid tools, or I may end up exploding this and then putting it back in. So I'm not really hung up on the idea of making a component right now. In the grand scheme, I'll remember to make it a component before I copy it around to the other 4 sides. That would be ideal, but we'll see what happens. But that's why I'm not stressing about making a component. I'm okay with the group right now. All right, inside here, I am going to grab my tools before I do anything else. I'm going to go to axes, and make the axis red here, green here, blue goes up. That's just going to make it easier to model on that one same plane. All right, so I realized by looking at this, there's a whole bunch of fiddly little bits inside this little joint, and I am going to make this far simpler than it really is because I don't have any idea what those things are.
Are they still called greeblies whenever it's actually a legitimate NASA designed thing? Or are they only greeblies whenever George Lucas is kind of tossing them around?
I want to say, I hope that NASA has real terms for them, because I feel like greebly means stuff that we don't know what it really does. So I hope that NASA has a better idea what the stuff they do does.
Andy said he's got a new, he's got a good close-up image of the joint. If you want to see it, go ahead and model the spring and the threads on all the little screws and nuts in there.
I do like the Meanwhile on Mars image. Holy cow, man. Yeah, so there's actually like a spring inside there. Yeah, I feel good with what I modeled so far.
It sure does look over-engineered. I'm just going to put it out there. As a guy who tries to keep things as simple as possible around his shop, the idea of throwing something around Mars, I don't know. I just feel like everything should be made out of Nerf material, or I don't know, just seems to be overbuilt.
Well, I'm guessing that part of what's going on there, I have a feeling there's some like actual movement that happens in those pieces we're seeing. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of a small motor inside of all that,
What? No, it's crazy.
Crazy is what NASA does. They do crazy, cool stuff.
Apparently, Murphy does not work at NASA, because Murphy would tell you if it's going to break. It's going to break the first time you land it.
That's probably not wrong. What happened to my, did my axis get reset? What did I do? Okay, let's try that again. I'm just noticing all of my
I'm glad to see that
snapping.
happens to you too, because I'm always having to like refine my axis or reorient.
I'm going to exit out of here. All right, that looks better. It's all aligned. Kind of. Oh, I picked that point. Come on, man. All right, one more time. There we go. All right, now we're flying straight now. Okay. So what I'm creating right here is just kind of a shape that I'm hoping get rid of that and oop, that little guy. Yeah, something like that. So what this is meant to be, oops, didn't want to get rid of that line. Just wanted to get rid of that. There we go. All right, so what I'm kind of thinking is this is like the profile of that first, the top half of the spring, and then separate from that we'll have like a bottom half. So this goes something like that, and then I got a kind of a something happens kind of like this maybe, which keeps that second spring in. Little lip guy there. And then we'll assume there's something similar on this side. The same thing, I'll go at 90 to this, come up like that, 90 to this, and bring that back parallel to this. Did I go out of plane? I sure did. I do struggle. I mean, just so you guys know, I struggle with that 90-degree snap regularly. Because 90 degrees to something in 3D is that 8 different directions you could go. So if something's here, this is 90 degrees, that's 90 degrees, that's 90 degrees. So no, so I guess 4 different directions could be happening. I don't know. So there's a lot of times where I will draw something like parallel and then bring it back a little bit. Because that 90-degree snap is really nice if you're drawing on a flat, but if you're in 3D space, it can be kind of hard to get the right shape. All right, so that's kind of what's going to represent my spring here. I'm going to take it and we'll go like that much. Oops. Okay. And it actually needs to go, part of this needs to go wider. So, because again, to get that kind of rounded shape, I'm going to cut this off. At this point, I'm going to drop verticals here and here. All right, I think I connected instead of going to vertical. Okay, and I'm going to take this out further. All right, now I'm going to grab all of that, make it into a group, and I'm going to come above here. I'm going to draw a line from here to here just for reference, so I have a thing to snap to. Because then I'm going to draw an arc from those 2 points. I guess I could have gone without that line, but I felt comfortable having it there. And
well, it's all about maintaining your comfort.
yeah, I like to tell people that.
I think it's a good thing to tell people. I tell people that about you as well.
All right. It's all about
you know, what's funny is every time I
you.
hear arc, I always end up thinking of the golden arcs from Coming to America.
Golden arcs.
McDowell's restaurant is totally looks just like a
Oh,
McDonald's, but instead of having the golden arches, they have the golden arcs.
that was a bit of an obscure reference, but I do appreciate it. Are you looking forward to the sequel coming soon?
I'm curious. I'm curious about the sequel. It should be fun. They're all fun people involved in the making of the original, so why not?
That is true. All right, so now what I'm going to do, again, just trying to keep this simple, I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to just cut them. And then grab the rest of this, delete it, go in context here. So I'm inside with this, edit, paste in place. It's going to put those two chunks on there. Now I can just say, all right, grab all this, intersect face with selection. That's going to cut that there. And now I can just go get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, and that. Oops, I got rid of too much.
You want to see something funny? Look at the title bar of your SketchUp.
Nah, I don't want to.
You're living you're living on the edge, man.
I do. That's how I roll. Command S. Okay. What is who? Okay, here's a trivia question with no reward if you get it right. What's the name of this thing? Because it's not the Mars helicopter. There actually is a name. I just don't remember what it is.
It's the Ingenuity.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. I thought we had said that already.
We had, but I don't always pay attention to
got
what's going on outside of right here. I'll be honest.
I've got 3 tabs right above this screen that say Mars Ingenuity.
Ah.
So it's a constant reminder.
That feels like I have undue pressure on myself to do something creative and smart.
Do it. Do it.
All right. I feel like I'm putting more detail in here than I need to, but I also feel like as soon as this is done, I'm like a third of the way finished with this model. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm gonna clean it up.
So I'm sitting there thinking of like being able to 3D print any of these parts since you've got them here. And since you've got a resin printer,
I
would
do.
it be like would it be possible to have like glass fibers in there to harden something like since it's just sort of lasering them together, if there were glass fibers present in the resin, would it be possible to create a you don't know?
I'm not sure because it seems like sticking chunks in there would end up causing problems with the curing process and the layer stacking. All right, so
Spacking. Did you just say spacking?
stacking.
Oh, okay.
It's like,
That's better.
yeah,
That's
so
what it was.
basically 3D printing nowadays is kind of like spackling something. No.
Yeah, that's immediately what I thought of was
No, like the
you're just
idea
gonna
of,
smear it on with
because it's one layer after another like this. And I feel like if you had fibers in there, they'd have to be so small that you wouldn't gain much from actually connecting them together. All right. So I kind of feel good about that. I kind of like the way that that lays in there. I'm going to create another one right now as a separate piece so it fits inside this. I'm going to do a line from here to here. I like doing lines between arcs. I don't know really why I do this, but it's kind of a habit that I've gotten into. Go up. I just want you to go up. Go straight up. There you go. So I'm going to bring that up until it's inside that other arc. I'm going to offset that so it's, no, I don't need to offset the whole thing, just this piece. Like that, and then I'm going to tie my ends together. Like that, get rid of this line, get rid of this, get rid of this, extend that out past what I have again. And then it looks like we have a very similar arc coming down from above. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take this, make it a group. I'm going to draw another line here to here, and then put an arc from there to there. I'm going to pull it out. I should probably go here, go underneath it. There we go.
I've scrolled up and down past this video that Titus posted without really paying attention to the fact that it tells me how big. It makes it very easy to see how big the helicopter is.
Oh,
The
really?
guy holding that block, that the main block of it, just holding it in his hand. So it's just a bit bigger than a handful.
Bigger than a handful. So a big handful.
Yes. Yeah, I
That's
mean,
cool.
I have no idea how big this guy's hands are. So
That's true. So if we could reach out to him and have him measure his hand real quick, that would really simplify this process of modeling.
it would. I think you're right. Also, we could just go over to Wikipedia, where they have all the dimensions. The fuselage body is 13.6 centimeters by 19.5 centimeters by 16.3 centimeters. You're calculating that in your head right now?
I heard numbers, and I figured somebody knows what to do with that, but
5.4 inches by 7.7 inches by 6.4 inches.
is the what?
That's the main chunk, the body, the fuselage.
Ah,
And the legs are 1 foot 3.1 inches long.
all right. We'll see how close we get to those proportions. All right, so there we
And the whole
go.
thing weighs 4 pounds. 4 pounds.
The whole thing?
Yeah,
That sounds
with the batteries.
all right. I'm going to unhide that last piece. I know some people don't like that I hide things, but I like temporarily hiding things with unhide or with hide all. Oops. Sorry, paste place on me. There we go. Made it a little bigger. Some people don't like that I
So
use paste in place, but I think, or hide and unhide, I think it's a great way to temporarily put something away and bring it back. Your call if you want to use that, though. I'm not going to.
Do you have any sort of logic with the number of segments you're putting in your arcs?
I'm using the default, which is a
Okay.
24-sided circle and a 12-sided arc. Ooh, look at that. Which, like I said, we're not going to go machine this. It's not going to get made, so I feel okay about that. All right. Now on this piece, what they have, what appears to exist, is a circle. Looks like it's about exactly the same width. Which makes sense. Those NASA guys pay attention to things. It's lower though. It does seem to be like down here. More like that in relation to the rest of the leg. Put that in like that. I'm going to bring it out like this. I'll cut that in a second. Okay. And then it has a lot more detail that I'm putting in, but I'm just going to give it a little bit of an offset like that and push that back in. And that's where my leg will actually come out of. Before I do that, I want to get rid of this piece right here, this chunk on the inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all that, Command X, come into context here, edit, paste in place, and I'm going to grab that and this and this, and I'm going to say intersect face with selection. That's going to chop off this piece from the rest of it, so I can just grab like that. Nope, maybe not. Something didn't cut all the way through right here for some reason. I don't know why do I have this line here anyhow? Apparently it's just there to cause problems. But now it's gone. All right, now. No, not now. What's your problem? What's your problem, Face?
Man, getting uppity.
All right, let's
So much
intersect
attitude.
again real quick because I had those extra lines in there that may have caused issues. Intersect face. Oh, there it is with selection. I didn't cut through right here. There we go. Nope, something else. Just run around it real quick. Well, it looks good to me, so. Is that the edge? All right. Oh, that's why I was so close to being on the right spot there. I drew one line across, but there's actually an endpoint right there, so it's just off the center. Easy fix. All right, so that's kind of that spring/leg holder right there. And now separate from that, we'll come in here. All right, so out one group, I'm going to put a circle. I'm going to start, just grab the center of, didn't get the center. Go, extend these out, and whoops. So now all of that makes the leg. I'll put a foot on here in a second. I'm going to come in here, just do this, just a little bit of extra cleanup down here with this piece because, well, for one thing, I got that line there, don't need that. But these two pieces connect together but don't intersect. So I'll do the same thing. I'm just going to grab all this geometry, intersect face with selection, and then I should be able to actually, if I want to, rotate inside here. Ooh, oh, I got inside the wrong piece. Oh boy. I'm going to get sick. All right, there it is. Delete. Nope. Delete that. Get rid of that line. Get rid of that face. Get rid of this. And this. And there we have another all fixed up. I'm going to throw a couple pegs on here just to pretend like I'm making something that could function in the real world. There we go. All right, so if we were to look at this piece by itself, looks like that. Oops. I want that to be in the group. All right, there we go. So there's my little leg piece. And then now I can take that and I can actually rotate that from the center point of this circle fairly easy. Come here at this. And I can say, all right, I want to tip that down. All right, now I need a golf club to put on the end. Golf club head down here.
We had those in the 3D warehouse.
We do. All right, so as I look at this, I'm trying to think of a simple way to do this, and I think I know something. This might get a little bit messy. We'll see what happens. All right, I'm going to start with a circle right here. I'm going to push. Oops, I'm in the leg. I don't want to be in the leg. I want to be out one. Oh, that's why, because I never made that leg a group. All right, so now I'm in the leg, separate from the in the leg group, but separate from the shaft. That's probably what I should say. I'm going to pull this out a little bit. And I'm going to take this piece right here. I'm going to scale it up around the middle, Option key. So I'm going to get that. All right, I'm going to take that. I'm going to scale that skinnier this way. And now This is the part where I don't know what's going to happen. Because knowing is boring. All right, I'm going to rotate that kind of like that. That's close. All right, so now it kind of looks like what's going on there too then is I got a little bit of an offset, like that, and then I'll take that piece, bring out something like that, maybe. Yeah, I like that for a foot. Okay, I like that leg. I like that leg. I might come in here and say, just take this portion just this portion down here. Actually scale that up just ever so slightly. Maybe. Yeah, something like that. That's gonna work for our purposes. All right, I'm gonna take that now, and I'm gonna go to the origin because everything's built on the origin. Option copy 1, 3x. All right, so as I start looking at this thing, I feel like my box is too big for my legs. Let me hop over to our forum again. We got some great pictures. You guys are doing awesome uploading the new ones. TomTom919 found the ones that I found originally too, and I think Jean found the same ones, which I think were the prototype before this one that was actually built. Yeah, so I'm gonna start making some changes here. We're gonna start changing some things. Relative, again, we're modeling everything relative to itself. The one big thing is that as I look at this, well, I mean, the one that guy's holding seems to have a different design for this thing that I just built, so who knows? All right, well, I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna keep moving with what I got right now. Because I'm excited. I don't know about you, but I am excited to model some propellers.
So Snow Tiger said, if you want to, he's already modeled these things. They're on the warehouse.
Cheater!
But
no,
let's be honest. Yeah, we don't want to go to the warehouse yet. It's a great resource, but makes for really boring videos.
Yeah, and it makes me feel bad about myself. I take solace sometimes in the fact that I'm like, okay, I spent an hour and a half on it, and I just tell myself that people who have awesome, beautiful models up there that are way better than mine, that they spend a lot longer. So maybe that's true. Uh-oh, why is that not on the center?
I don't know. We already talked about this. Axis, while you can move it, seems to also sometimes just move itself. You know, for fun.
Again, something I tell myself when I believe I did something incorrect.
Yeah, I'm really good at taking the blame for stuff, whether I did it or not.
All right, so this propeller setup is infinitely more detailed than what I will be doing. I'm just going to own up to that right now. I'm going to start by putting a rectangle here in the center, representing where all this stuff connects together. I'm going to come in here like this, I'm going to draw about the center, and I'm going to put something like that. On top of that, I'm going to put a circle, something that goes kind of like that. And I'm going to pull that up. And this is going to be the start of my, is this the rotor? Is this the part that's actually called the rotor as opposed to,
so they refer to the blades themselves are the rotors.
All right. So these are the engine mounts or something like that. That sounds like it could be a thing, right? I'm going to grab all that and make it a group. Guess what I didn't do, guys? This is still a group, so another opportunity to show TomTom's wonderful extension. Group copies,
Nice.
select all, and convert into components. Boom. I'll come back and fix that other foot. We've got a great detailed drawing of it. I'll come do that in a second. Because I'm very optimistic about how long it's going to take me to draw these propellers. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to draw a flat surface right here. And I'm just going to make this nice and big. And I'm going to take that. I need an indicator of direction real quick. So I'm going to say, I'm going to just kind of super quick mock this shape up a little bit. And there's a reason that I'm doing this. I also need to indicate up. So I'm going to have this line kind of go up like that, or at a weird angle like that. Let's try that again. All right, and then I'm going to grab all that geometry, triple click to get all connected geometry, and I'm going to make it into a component. The idea is that I only have to do this once. And so this one, I'm going to have one opposite this like that. But there's two more of them, these two on the top, which I believe from looking at this look like they take that and they flip the other way. So I'm going to grab these two. I'm going to come up the blue axis and option rotate those to get that. And then just for the sake of visibility, I'll go ahead and take those top ones and rotate them slightly away. All right, so that's kind of what we're looking at. That's the layout. By doing this ahead of time, by setting these up and just putting them on here, now as I go in and bulk out and actually create this piece, all four pieces are just going to come together. It'll be kind of cool. That's my theory. We'll see what happens. I'm going to double click into one. Notice everything else disappears because I actually have that assigned to a shortcut key, so I can turn the rest of everything else off and on with just a button push. I don't have a shortcut key for hiding light components because I guess I don't modify it often enough. Actually, every time I do this, I find that I do modify it, so I probably need to add a shortcut key for this. But I want to hide resting components because I just want to work on modeling this one piece. So to start with, this does come off of a circular shaft. So I'm going to come here to the center of this line, and I'm going to draw a shaft in like that. All right. Go like that. I'm going to go ahead and move this line, which really is kind of arbitrary. It doesn't mean a whole lot yet. Over like that. Whoop. Oh, I didn't push pull. That's nothing wrong. I thought I got some extra erasing done, but that was not the case. So I'm just going to use move to grab this point, slide it over like that. Grab this point, slide it over like that. I may end up with here, let's click out. Oh, never mind, everything's perfect. Wasn't going to point out anything that I might have done wrong.
Wait, you did something wrong?
No. Thanks for asking.
Oh. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So this little thingy, this little spike that shoots out actually does come out of this round portion. So I'm gonna come back to that in a second, but noted that that's what happens. All right, so creating a propeller blade. This is something that there are many ways to do. So I was thinking about how to go about this. I was thinking about creating a sub-D model. So actually create the pieces and then subdivide to make it happen. which is kind of cool. Maybe we'll actually make this a couple different ways. Because I was also thinking, like, how far could I get with native tools? You guys have seen where we did remember the helicopter we did? I don't know how many people were there. We created a whole helicopter body, all native tools. I created a skill builder where I created a gas tank for a motorcycle, all that curve, the uneven curve, all native tools. So yeah, there's a couple ways you do it. Question, Andy's asking what I think about soap skin. I like soap skin and bubble. It's a great extension, but it's very normal and uniform, meaning that, well, that I don't know if that's the right term, but it inflates and the edges get less tension than the center pieces. So what it always creates is it kind of creates this like arc like this. So at the ends, I get less of a turn and then more at the middle. So I find that if I use it for something like this, if you look at a propeller, there's a lot of science behind propellers, but it's kind of consistent arc across the cross section. It doesn't go flat and then come up and then go back down like a sine wave. Is that the right term? I don't know. Like a bell. It's actually more of an even arc. So a couple ways we could go about doing this. This could be something where we create profiles and loft. This could be something that we create the original geometry in big blocky shapes and then subdivide. Or it could be something that we try to use offset and scale native tools to create the geometry for. Yeah, so that's Titus was saying that last method of creating arcs, and then you just offset, scale. It takes a while. It's not very exciting to watch, to be totally honest. So I'm kind of thinking, maybe I want to try subdividing, if you guys are okay with that. If anybody's strongly opposed to that, then, oh, sorry. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to try this. I don't know how this is going to work out. I'm going to break off this section and model this as a piece that'll get subdivided and smoothed. And then to connect the end, where this ends back here, we'll actually use a lofting tool to create that. So use a couple different tools here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I need to get some, well, actually this geometry doesn't look too bad, to be honest. I think this piece will come back like this a little bit. Yeah. So I think what I'll want to do is have this, this, and then maybe I'll put one more piece in there. I think that will actually be enough to create this framework for a subdivision. I'm going to take these, I'm going to take each of these pieces, I'm going to Option, push, pull. This is totally one of those spots where I'm doing a little bit of discovery as I model here, so I know I'm creating a little extra geometry. I'm going to right click, see if Orient Faces works. Probably not, because I got all that stuff inside. I'm going to triple click all this and make it its own group. Again, I'm not worried about a component because the container on the outside is still a component, so the pieces on the inside can be groups. I'm not going to make multiple versions of this same piece inside the component, so grouping it is fine as opposed to making it a component. All right, so if I hit Command S, that's not going to work. All right, so I'm going to peek inside this real quick, and I'm going to start cleaning house a little bit. So each of these has an extra surface in it that I can just delete. There we go. And I can say Orient Faces, get that all white on the outside. All right, so what we need to do is create, so there's a high side. This side's high, this side's going to be lower. There's a little bit of a convex shape to a propeller like that. And then, of course, we have to round all the corners. So I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll start by making the low side. So I'm going to grab these pieces right here, and I'm going to use Vertex Tools. Vertex Tools is an extension. What Vertex Tools does is allows you to move geometry First thing that I really like about it is it moves in a single direction. So I can just say, just move this up and down using this gizmo right here. But it also maintains quad geometry. So when I hit subdivide, it's not going to do anything weirder than what it normally would. Bring that piece down, look at it like this, grab all of these sections, drop those down a little bit, and then I'm going to grab these pieces right here. A 3D mouse and Vertex Tools and selection together are pretty sweet. It's a pretty cool way to be able to swivel your geometry around while you're selecting it.
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen anybody ask about that mouse yet.
Well, funny you should ask, Jody. How's that? For those of you who are wondering, this piece over here that I'm using in my left hand is a 3D mouse. Specifically, this is the Space Mouse Enterprise from the company 3D Connection. It's not a required piece of gear to run SketchUp. You can use SketchUp completely without ever having one of these. Most people do. What I find it's nice for is presentation. It does these nice sweeping motions, so that just right off the bat, that's a nicer thing to look at. As a SketchUp user, we get used to this, you know, scroll in, scroll out, turn, 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 turn with orbit. There's nothing wrong with that. It's great, it works well. But if you present a lot, this can be a lot less jarring than having those big jumps as you roll around in 3D. The other thing it does is it leaves this mouse, this hand, open to do things while I'm moving in 3D. So if I want to pan across this while grabbing the line tool, I can start panning across like this, come up here, click this, and be in the line tool when I get back over here. So it's a nice option to have if you're looking for something to up your SketchUp game. So if you want to get a little bit better presenting, have better presentations, you walk your customers through models, something like that, it's a great tool for that. But if you're already like, you feel I'm already a good SketchUpper, how do I get a little bit better? It can be an option for you know, just making yourself a little bit better, a little bit more effective. I was talking to somebody about like what's the thing that's made that somebody was saying that their second monitor that they got was a huge game changer in their design flow. I totally agree. Having two monitors is huge. Having to present on just this one screen's rough because I do a lot of stuff on my second monitor. But I think the 3D mouse has been one of the biggest changes to my design workflow personally, kind of along with a good 3-button mouse that allows you to set shortcuts. That's a big deal too. All right, so now I'm just fiddling a little bit to kind of create that, like I said, I'm looking for that concave shape this way. I think this is pretty good. So I'm going to take this right now and subdivide it. We'll see what it looks like. Yeah. That doesn't look bad.
It looks very.
It looks sharp.
Dragonfly-ish.
I probably need to add a little thing here. I'm going to take it and I'm going to go to my tool palettes and turn on my Sub D toolbar. Sub D is another extension, also from TomTom. There are other extension divider or creators out there. I just happen to be using 3 TomTom tools today. I'm going to increase my subdivision just to see if that point goes away. It does. If we increase it again, yeah, that comes back. That looks fairly super. I know we were talking about different ways that we could do this, but I kind of don't want to mess with any more ways because I like this one a lot. I'm going to unsubdivide. One of the things we got to do, of course, is we have to tie this back into this piece right here. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to slide this back a little bit. So I'm going to center this with this piece right here. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to grab these 4 sides. And I'm going to use the crease tool and crease it at 100%. So when I subdivide now, it's going to give me this nice flat like that. And that flat shape is something I could marry together with this over here. So again, I'm going to drop this down a little bit so it's a little more in line with this. And I think I might actually extend it out a little bit too. So now what I've got is I've got a circle here. I'm going to triple click and make this a group real quick. And I've got an oval here. So what I want to do is I want to marry this to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, I'm going to grab this, Control C to copy it, come out, edit, paste in place. That puts a copy of that surface right there. Come in here, Control C to copy this, come out, edit, paste in place. So what I've just created now is a face here, and I don't remember the last time I hit save. Save and sip. Wasn't that what our thing was?
It used to be a thing, and then we stopped drinking water or something.
I don't know why, because it is super dry lately. I know we're in Colorado, so we're technically in high desert anyhow, but when it gets cold here, any liquid that's in the air disappears completely. That's where we're at. That's how we live. All right, so I'm going to come here. I'm going to delete the surface out of here and just select this edge, and I'm going to weld it. So now I have, this is basically just a single edge. Same thing here. I'm going to grab the middle part, delete it. That's still a circle, so that's already done. All right, I'm going to save. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know that Curve-A-Loft, which is an extension I'm going to use now. Curve-A-Loft is a tool that comes from Fredo 6. It's available on the Sketchucation plugin store. I'm going to see how this works with grabbing two circular shapes and putting them together. So let's go in here to Tools, Fredo 6 Collection, Curve-A-Loft, and Loft by Spline. Is that the right one?
See, that looks like cheating, right? All you do is click some buttons and all of a sudden, perfect.
That's my job, Jody. Click buttons and perfect. That's what I do.
Is that actually on your resume?
Yeah, it is.
Your CV?
Push buttons and take credit for what happened. So yeah, I agree. There's some fine tuning we could absolutely do here. So I could come in here, I could uncurve, and this piece I think is what's getting called out as needing to go like down a little lower, maybe over this way a little bit. But I think I can do that and maintain that shape. That all still works out pretty good. Sweet. That's kind of cool. All right, I'm gonna get this. I would like to offer a prize for whoever can call out what that is. The prize will not be non-monetary in nature so much as thoroughly appreciated, because...
Which thing? Oh, the nubbin?
This thing, yeah. I bet it has a better term
since
than that,
it looks like it's on the trailing edge, I think it's something that probably helps course correct so that it doesn't wobble since there's one blade on top of the other.
That could be.
But yeah, let's look. Let's see. Someone's going to give a technical answer that's
better than nubbin.
Infinitely better.
All right, so I'm drawing a circle on one of the facets of my existing circle. I'm going to pull it out like this. It'll be a fairly simple bit of geometry. I'm going to grab this circle right here. All right, so I'm going to triple click to make this into a new group. Primary function or reason for making a new group is I want to work in plane again. So by coming in here, I can come in with the axis tool. One here. Let's go this way. So now I can say, grab this and say offset. Oops. Scale, not offset. Option to scale around the middle. Go like that. Okay, that's looking good. It does look like it's rounded over on the end. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to draw, or not even draw an arc. I'll just take this piece right here. Rotate that, a copy of that up. And now what I can do is I can just grab this circle. I can say, follow me with this. That may or may not work. That's not right. That's not what I want. If I grab that, now say follow me. Not quite. How about this? What if I did this? There we go. Now I take this circle, tools, third tries a charm, follow me with this quarter piece. There we go. All right, and then again, I'm gonna rotate inside. Looks good. I think I can just, yeah, I can just option erase this circle. And I created a nubbin just like that. Yeah, I can't see them throwing the word around nubbin around at NASA. They definitely have something that's an acronym of like at least 6 words.
I think that you're overselling them. I think they're humans, just like you and me, man.
You're right.
And nubbin is the perfect word.
Just in general,
Yeah.
it's just perfect. All right, so what I want to do with this this piece right here, if I feel good about where that's at, I like it. I think it works well. I'm going to take it and I want to join it into this circle. But you'll notice if I look at it like it doesn't quite lap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line perpendicular to this facet of the circle. Then I'm going to grab this piece, I'm going to use move, and I'm going to move it along this line. So that I don't have to actually, when you click on move, you can do a relative move between other points. And by creating a guideline temporarily, I'm assured that I'm moving in the proper plane without having to like ballpark it. Sometimes I do that. You guys probably have seen that before. Sometimes I just start moving something. I'm like, looks good there.
I mean, that's what part of design is making it just look good.
Well, yeah, and I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying like for some reason I have put a weight on myself that I have to be slightly more accurate drawing this off of a picture this big. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. All right, so now I have a what I would call propeller base and a nubbin. So these two are both solids. So they're both solid groups. You can see right here it says solid group, solid group. So what I'm going to do is come in here, go to tool palettes and open up my solid tools and just union those real quick. Boom, look at that. Oh, it's a thing of beauty. I'm going to work my way down here and get more pieces like that. So right here, if I click in here, this is not a solid. It's not closed at all. So let's see if I can get it to all close up. Draw a line there. Come over here. Draw a line here. Oop, that closed up. And is it solid? It is solid. But remember, I do have some extra lines. So when you use Curveloft to create that lofted shape, Curveloft creates its new faces inside of a group and leaves the line work you use to create it outside that group. That's intentional. It's by design because the assumption is you're lofting 2 existing pieces together, and you don't necessarily want everything to merge. You also don't want to throw out your original line work that you used. In this case, I did because I created copies of line work to keep them separate. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to do a group select over here, delete that. All right, so now if I pick...
So your nubbin is supposed to be on a leading edge. You got it on the wrong side.
Okay, well, good thing somebody caught that. That's why NASA has QC. Okay, so I'm going to grab this piece. I'm going to rotate it by the center of the circle. And watch this. Oh! Problem solved. So if I have to make sure to rotate it so my segments match. All right, there we go.
Match. You're going to want those segments to match.
That's right. Because I'm going to take this piece and this piece and solid. Oh, yeah. All right, so before I do that on this one, this is a solid already. This is how sub D keeps, so sub D remembers that I have an unsubdivided geometry inside this piece. That's kind of what these lines are supposed to represent. There's actually a whole lot more geometry than just those solid lines, but it's all smoothed over. It intentionally leaves the lines that represent my original geometry. I don't want that though. I want to get rid of it. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to soften and smooth real quick. Mixed results with this. All right, so I'm gonna get some manually erase, or not erase, but smooth these couple pieces right here. There we go. Get rid of these guys right here. Did anybody online watch any of the recent Mars content? I had not seen any of it, but I saw Mark Rober was talking about it, and he was excited.
But I like searched. It looks like a lot of that stuff's just available on YouTube to rewatch. I didn't watch any of the stuff though. Titus did.
How was it? Is that it's because I watched
So Titus
the stuff that happened with when SpaceX sent up that the people and it merged with the station, and it was really cool. But I don't know, it was cool. That's cool. Just wondering how this one went.
So, how long was the design process? Did they talk? Have you heard? Like, when did they start working on this? And
Honestly, I don't pay much attention to that stuff. I just get excited about it at the end when it's a big deal to everybody else.
you don't care until there's a press release.
That's right. As much as I enjoy design, I don't really follow it that much.
So I've got this
I
video
totally blew the
playing of him.
reveal there. Oh no, that's an issue.
Oh, I started up the little YouTube video of them testing this thing, and those legs are very springy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I buy that.
So
Okay, so it looks like definitely all of this. You need to go
7 years ago, Titus said.
7 years? Wow.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't work it. I'm not good at long-term projects.
There's no instant gratification there.
Look like teeth when you look at it. Look at that. It's like a bat coming at you. Okay, so
Okay, I'm getting all kinds of mixed comments here. Endless Fix said they're not all exact copies. Andy said they're upside down.
these ones are. That's going to be an issue.
Snow Tiger said that, yeah.
So every once in a while, you get to that point where you regret what you've done. And I regret what I've done. So I'm going to have to undo a couple times. Because, and here's why. Oh no, wait, I think I can fix this. I'm going to grab these two and make them unique. So when you hit make unique, if you have multiple items or copies of a component, you hit make unique and they're all selected at the same time, those copies now become part of a new component. So these two are the same new component. See, blade 1, blade 1. This one's just called blade, blade, blade. So that means if I come in and make a change to this one piece right here, it will change the other one as well. So what I need to do now, I'm going to look at my hidden geometry, and I'm going to grab, oh, it's a grouping inside here. Explode that. Oh, because of my unioning. I'm going to grab just this section, and I'm going to group it. So when you group it, it temporarily breaks it off from here. But now what I think I can do is I should be able to take this No, hold up. I'm getting ahead of myself. First thing I have to do is take both of these. Well, here, I'll just go in here, grab everything, and we'll start by rotating this 180 degrees. That's thing number one. Is that going to give me the correct profile? Let's look. No, because they're backwards. They need to be coming this way.
Okay, so Snow Tiger said it's only the upper blades that need to be inverted, but they counter rotate so the trailing edge are reversed between the upper and lower blades.
Doable, totally doable. All right, so what we're going to do is
flip along glue.
Yes, but because this round section isn't centered in the component, I am going to end up with an issue there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line right here at the top, and I'm just going to drop that down vertically. So I know that after I flip it this way, I can just grab it by this top segment and bring it back to that point. Because I will take this now. I'm going to come in here, I'm going to grab everything, and I'm just going to hit scale, option, scale that to -1.
Boom.
Boom. That's right. But now I got to take it and I got to flip this and bring it right back to that point. Grab this guy, move him back to that point. All right. Closer. I'm closer. So now I got my edges are righter, but my pokey bits are off. So let's come back in here again. This is what I started to do before. I'm going to grab that group, rotate it from the center again, like that. All right, there we go. Now they seem to be righter than they were before. All right. Here's another thing I'm going to do. I'm going to take this and I'm just going to run this all the way through like that. These I kind of feel like are actually up a little bit more because, oh, maybe, hold on, let me start by doing this. Let me drop this down. All right, that was closer. That looks okayer. So I want to do this because I want to build my assembly around this center shaft kind of thing. So I got a couple things going on. So one thing is, so I can bring this back down a little bit. It kind of looks like I got something like, I don't know, something like that on here. Actually looks like it might go offset slightly and then pull that down even more. Something like that happened right here. I have geometry very similar to that happening right above this piece. So maybe do something like that. More things happen up here, but like I said, this is where I'm gonna be okay not getting to quite as much detail right there. And then a big piece that they got going on above that. So actually, let me come back in here and I'm gonna take this and explode it, put that back together. That's not how helicopters work, but it was fun to watch them spin. Something else I can do.
That's what it's all about.
I'm not worried about this being a solid anymore. So I can get rid of this face and then I can grab the edge lines like that and hide them. What that'll do is that'll give me what looks like one continuous piece. I can do the same thing down here. Just grab this face. Oh, that's right. It's in a second group, so I'm going to explode that too because it bugs me when I got groups inside of groups for no reason. You grab that, grab those edges, hide them. All right, looking better, looking better. All right, last thing, well, not last thing, but the next big detail is I got this solar panel with a little antenna on it. So I'm going to draw a rectangle. I'm going to go from the center. Just give me a center. This isn't a circle anymore because this is just something I made. Come down here. Come across here. Oops. Here. There we go. And then I can come out here and draw this rectangle. All right, so here's something that comes up a lot, that I run into this a lot. I want to draw this rectangle, but I want to draw it a specific, not a specific size, but a general size. But because of the points below, I'm just snapping all kinds of weird shapes. What I'll do is maybe just draw it big like this. Then I can grab it and I can scale, and this is just give me a little more control, and I can actually like turn out of plane to do this resizing, that sort of thing after I draw it. So I don't know if you ever run into that problem. I seem to run into that problem a lot where snap points, which are great. I love me some snap points, but every once in a while they get in my way. All right, so
They're not snapping the way you want them to snap.
that's right. They're not doing what I want. I'm gonna come in here, offset this back down a little bit, take that up to the bottom of my rectangle, take my rectangle, get a little bit of thickness on it, because this is thin, but it's not infinitely thin. It has some depth to it. That's like a little too much, actually. All right, I'll take that, make that into a new group. Ooh, broad strokes. Broad strokes are there. Okay, the size of these propellers is making my legs look a little anemic. But you know, kind of feeling good for scoot that over. Same thing here. Kind of cool for a quick model. Boy, my blades
That's pretty legit.
are pretty big. They feel beefy.
More than 4 feet.
That well, Sumela is going to tell me they're way over 4 feet here. But yeah, let's do that. Let me draw a vertical line here. Vertical line here. That's not quite level. All right, and then we'll scale off that. 4 feet.
4 feet.
All right, that looks a little more realistic.
Yeah. It looks like, okay, so if we get down, it looks like the legs maybe go a little lower. Like if that thing landed and bounced, it's going to bottom out.
That's true. So are the legs longer or are they just angled down more?
Yeah. Both.
Yes. All right, so I'm going to come in here. I just ran out of mouse pad there for a second, guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think it's because I use gestures a lot. So, you know, I have, we've talked about this before. I have a gesture assigned to, you know, hold down the thumb button, swipe up for a gesture, that kind of thing. And I think I end up gesturing until I hit the edge of my mouse pad. And then I got to start over pretty much at that point. All right, let's take that, pull that back down here. All right, let's closer. I'm going to come in here, give myself a little more length here so I can come out here, grab this, rotate that about my center point here. And I want this piece to come just above this corner. So I'm going to grab it by that and come down. There we go, like that. All right, that looks closer. I could use Match Photo to check my model, but I don't think I'm close enough to make myself feel good by doing that. All right, I feel like
I think it looks pretty good. The nice thing is the legs look like the springs at the top are adjustable. So, you know, once it's actually on site, once it's in the field, they can tune them.
We just discussed the lack of actual heads on Mars, remember?
Oh, that's a good point. I don't think the Curiosity has got very nimble fingertips. It's really cold there.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah, so this is a little bit thick right here, but going through and changing this is going to severely impact my geometry. So I'm going to live with it.
Andy's got a close-up of the solar panel on the forum, if you care.
That is cool. No, I do like that. I'm kind of thinking, you can tell it looks like it actually folds up or something maybe too. I imagine everything that goes to Mars is probably collapsible, right? Because it's kind of fit inside the smallest possible space.
Would think.
All right.
Is solar powered stuff different since they're closer to the sun?
I have no idea.
Or
Well, the
and because
atmosphere is different
there's no
too, right?
atmosphere?
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I would imagine there's difference. I don't know what that difference is. That's an excellent
The
smart
only
guy
people that know are
question.
Martians. Yeah.
I'm going to remove my watermark because there's one thing I do want to do here. Uh, I'm sorry, Smelly. We're going someplace unsafe. You're going to have to leave. All right. I want to make a quick Martian landscape on here. So I'm going to start. I'm going to save because I'm really good at that. I'm going to go to Tool Palettes and I'm going to open up my sandbox tools. Hold on, it's somewhere on my monitors. There it is. And bring that back over here. Okay, I'm going to create a mesh real quick. I'll probably do like a 1 foot. I'm not going to make this huge, so. Maybe made like a 5 foot. There we go. So as I create this mesh, I just have to tell it how big do I want the pieces here to be. I don't want them to be huge or anything like that. I think we can go a little bit bigger than that even. There we go. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to use my smooth tool to make a pseudo Martian landscape. And I just want to get something that looks like maybe I'm like in a valley and I have stuff rising up all around me. We can drop it down in the middle a little bit. Some bumps and divots. There's no flat. Nobody's paving on Mars. There's no flat. That would be cheating.
Well, I mean, there's probably. I mean, there's got to be some naturally occurring flat spots here and there.
I don't buy it.
Okay.
That's a sign of real life or real life as opposed to fake life. All right, I'm gonna go a little bit smaller, 15 foot, and I'll add some detailing. All right, that looks like that could be a Martian landscape, right? All right.
You also need to add the Martian Sphinx looking thing, the little face.
That'll be the next one, the Pee Wee Herman face or whatever.
I guess. Pee Wee Herman face.
I thought I saw that referred to as looking like Pee Wee Herman. Yeah, so I'm gonna take that space now. I'm gonna soften and smooth it. Boom. Let's crank it. What are you talking about here? There we go. I'm gonna reverse that. All right, so if we look at that, cool. There we're on there. Okay, now I'm gonna go a little further. I'm gonna go further than that. I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna throw a big old rectangle on the ground. And I'm going to import an image I already grabbed. This was just a picture of the Martian surface. So I'm just going to make it nice and big like that. Oops, I import that as a image rather than a texture. That still works because I can grab it, get rid of these lines. I can just take this and I can explode it. When you explode it, it takes it from being an image group and just makes it into a face with a surface on it. I'm going to take this and I'm going to select just this face, go to texture and make sure it is checked to projected. It is, so now I can say take my paint bucket tool, grab that and put it on here. That did not work right. There we go. Sorry, I put it on the group and not the actual surface on the inside. All right, so there, oh, we're getting closer. We're definitely getting closer to Martian Landscape for the perseverance to fly around. Get rid of this. And let's group this all together real quick. And let's bring you closer to the forefront. Oh, yeah, that's cool looking. Let's fly you up a little bit. All right, so obviously the sky's not working for me. I had a bright blue sky. So there's a couple things I could do. One thing I could do, just to throw this out there, I could go to my background settings and my styles, and I could say I do want to put a sky in, and then pick a different color for that sky. So I could come in here and say, let's see, red or a brown sky, something like that. And what sky will always do is it'll kind of do this gradient. It always does this. It goes from the color you pick to a lighter version of itself to give that sky effect. That's not bad, but I want to do better. So what we're gonna do instead is go to Watermark, and I'm gonna hit add a new watermark, and I have this Martian sky image, which, by the way, I'm not 100% sure this is scientific. I think this is an artist's rendering of the Martian sky based on photographs, but I'm gonna go
Nobody's
ahead.
actually been there, so
I'm gonna go ahead and import that. And I'm going to make it a background rather than an overlay. So it's going to sit behind. Next, full image. I don't want anything to bleed through. And we'll position it up here maybe, and then scale it up. Oh. Yep. Oh yeah, get it off the page altogether. There we go. All right.
Orange fog, Titus says.
Oh, baby, yeah. You guys are thinking. All right. Yeah, let's get some orange fog in here. Bring my windows back on here. Fog settings. Let's throw some fog in. Oh, yeah, we're not going to use background color though. Or we'll switch background. Turn that off. Let's grab. Is that too much? Kind of feels okay.
Darken it. Oh, yeah, maybe. Oh yeah.
I like the fog. I lose my background completely because looks like a Cheeto factory exploded.
I was thinking it actually looks like the place where the space guild navigators, the fog that they float in, spice melange all floating around on Mars.
I like it, but I kind of lost my space. So I got to choose between some Martian space to fly around in, or Martian fog. Oh, I wonder if I could do.
Well, so when it's foggy, you're probably not flying much, right? Visibility is too low, so it only flies whenever it clears up.
That's true. I was wondering why haven't I used an opaque fog before? Because you can't. That's why. Oh, I want that to work. I want it to be to do both, but I don't seem to be able to do that.
Sorry.
That's okay. That was a good idea. That was fun. Uh-oh, I got a reverse face. Got to fix. Nope, I don't got a reverse face. It's just a shadow. Ooh, what about shadows? Let's just keep playing with this thing. All right, that makes me want to put it closer to the ground though to get that shadow effect. Nope. Slide it back a little bit like.
Transom wants you to fix the foot. Put that little carabiner clip in the.
I got excited about doing the background. I forgot about that. That was kind of cool. I like this. I like this where it's going. All right. I intentionally put the foot off to the end because I did want this piece. I wanted this to be able to change the leg size and that kind of stuff. As soon as I do this, I'm going to break this component. So this one will be different from the others. So there's a couple things I can do for this. One is I can come in here and I can grab all of this and I can make this the component and just have the feet slapped on the end. That would work. That's probably the easiest thing to do. So if I come in here, grab this, make it a group, and then grab all of the rest of it, make that into the component. I don't think I actually made anything called leg. All right, so now this is what repeats all the way around. I could come into this one then. I could come in and, hold on, I'd have to actually grab all of these, explode them real quick. All right, there we go. Now I could come to this one, and this should just be a group. Yeah. I could take this one and use this as a template to create that alternate foot. So the way this other foot looks, use that same, I'm going to use the same circle and pad is all seems to be the same. But then this kind of goes down and then loops up around. So let's see, how do I do this without getting too silly? Grab this.
Oh, come on, just get silly.
I want to maintain that as much as possible.
Intersect with model.
Yeah, I might do something like that. So if I need a plane, I need a working plane. So,
No, this is a helicopter.
ooh, nice.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. I'm going to go. Nope, I missed it. There we go. Okay. Ah, so crazy. Hide everything else. Oh, I'm now just in a cold, cold vacuum space. Just designing. All right. Take this piece. I'm going to shift it along like that. Grab that. Make a group. Okay, cool. So when I come in here, so this is the piece I want to follow. I'm making this up. I'm not really sure what I'm doing here. Like, cut that, come in here, edit, paste in place. All right, so that I want to do something more like maybe shoot, I gotta show the rest real quick. So that's on the red. That follows the red axis. Which is not that different there, is it? All right. This is gonna be something. Apparently I've gotten to that point where there's less talky, more clicky kind of thing. All right, I think that's gonna work. So I want to cut out this piece, so make that into its own group. This piece then is going to get some thickness to it. You're going to go away. You're going to go away. I do, it's fun to model with shadows on because when you push pull, they show up. It's really cool. But once you get a serious model up, it's very difficult. All right, I think this is gonna work. All right, so here's the other thing I gotta do. I gotta come in here, cut that. Oops, clean up these lines. Edit, paste in place. Bring it out this way. Bring it this way. And I'm getting this clipping stuff because I'm working on a very small piece of a model that is part of a huge model because I went and added all that landscape. So that's why I'm getting this clippings happening. So all of a sudden, it's because of that, because I'm now working on a tiny detail on a much bigger model. That's most of the time you get clippings showing up. All right, so what I want to do here is make sure this is solid, make sure this is solid. And then I'm going to take this piece right here, view, tool palettes, turn on my solid tools, and I want to subtract that from this piece. That's going to give me something like that. All right. This looks okay, but I want to do better. So I'm going to, because this is kind of a circular shape, so I'm going to get the path. This is my path now. This line is my path, and what I'm going to do, I think, is draw a circle. Wow, I got really close to creating a perfect square there. That's kind of neat. All right, so I'm going to grab this circle.
You're natural.
And these 3 lines and make that into a group. And I can grab all the rest of this, just delete it. And now what I think I can do, I'm going to try taking this. My circle might be too many sides. It might have a geometry issue here. Say follow me with this. Ah, that worked. All right, soften, smooth that. Closer, closer. All right. And now I think, so this one, need to explode once. Solid group. This one, solid group. All right, so now I can just outer shell these 2 together. And there I got my little necklace clip foot there. I'm going to do one more thing here. I'm going to go to my styles, my edges. I'm going to turn off profiles because I just like I think that looks clean. I like the profiles in some models, but especially when you get into landscape, I think that profile kind of distracts me. But that was kind of cool. I kind of like that. I like the little profile showing up down there, or the little shadow showing up down there. Go turn off my axes. Axes. I get a good picture of it. I can still see the space back there. Yeah, that's cool. I'm pretty happy with that. That turned out kind of nice. And it took a little more time than I was expecting.
I think it looks real good.
What's that?
And it took longer than the 30 minutes we thought.
That's right. And not because I screwed up anything real bad.
Nice. Only just a little bit.
It does look cool with those profiles off. So I'm of 2 minds of profiles, because especially when you have something like an item that's in a bigger model, like something that's sitting up front, the darker line around the edge setting it apart. I think that looks cool. It looks very SketchUp-y, right? That's kind of a look that came from some of those original SketchUp styles. I think it looks cool, but I do like nice, clean, one-sided lines. The other thing is round surfaces like this. So my edges disappeared on my blade. For this model, it looks really good. In some models, it makes detail get lost. Same with the edges here. I have these rounded, smooth surfaces back here, so they disappear completely. But for this model, it's really okay. So, yeah, hey, that was fun. That was. Thank you, Jody, for coming up with that idea. That was pretty cool.
It just came to me one day when the news said there was a thing to talk about.
And we have kind of carte blanche on this, the fourth week of the month, right, where we get to just model whatever we want. And I feel like we did a good job picking something fun that was slightly topical-ish. All right, well at that point we'll just wrap this right up. But first I do want to ask you a question. So we're coming back next week. We have our plan is to do a building of some sort. So that's the first thing I want to throw out here. While I ramble on for a few seconds here, you guys throw out a building that we should do, a building style, something like that. We've done a lot of landmark buildings. Those seem to work out pretty well. So if you can think of a good landmark building that would be modeled next time, we'd love to hear that. Oh, and save.
Boop. So Titus is already ahead of the game and suggested a pyramid.
Oh, that could be a really short model or a really long model.
Right? Do you build it with all the tunnels and bits?
Ooh, the Tesla factory. That could be kind of cool. Yeah, so keep those ideas coming in. I just want to, assuming we can get past the technical hurdles, we may have a guest showing up next week during the live modeling session. I don't want to throw out too much more than that because I don't want to overpromise. I don't want to say something that it turns out we can't do because of technical stuff. We've been a little limited with what we can offer from live models. People have said, can we get guest modelers, can we get other people in? I think it's awesome. The limitation has been setting up this whole thing that I've set up over the last year, having that set up so they can stream to our channels the way we do. So, but assuming we're working on it, assuming that happens, you're going to want to come back and hang out with our special guest next week because that's going to be a ton of fun. Shoot, I had another question I was going to throw out then. Oh, how did it look? Were you guys able to see, was there a noticeable difference in quality in the stream?
Or
I'm just
latency?
wondering. Yeah, any
Lighting?
latency issues? Andy, Sydney Opera House constantly comes up, and all I can ever say to that is, I don't wanna.
They stamp your foot while you do that, and just.
Yeah. People ask for the Sydney Opera House all the time, and I know it's actually very the shapes are very intentional and that kind of thing. But when I look at it, I just see like a big pile of rose petals or something. It scares me. All right, so I got a thumbs up for quality. That's good to hear. That's nice to hear. Oh, got lots more ideas coming up.
What about the house from up?
That would be fun. No, I don't want to give that to our special guest. I want to do that one.
Oh, this is going to be what we're forcing upon the guest.
That's
Gotcha.
Right. Somebody else's. Oh, maybe the Sydney Opera House is perfect for next week.
There you go.
Oh man, in the Disney concert hall, that just looks like some terrible photo distortion happening.
I feel like there's just the whole mess of engineers and builders that hate Frank Gehry.
I know. Why did you do that?
They're just like, ugh.
Yeah. Oh man.
Wait, who designed this? No, I'm not interested.
All right, concept drawing. Where's a piece of paper? This. That's the idea. Cool. Well, hey, this is good. This is a bunch of great ideas, you guys. I appreciate it. This is some awesome ideas. And yeah, we're going to work with our guests to come up with a good model. So you're going to want to come back. Come back next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. Jody and I will still hang out. We'll still be here. But yeah, it's going to be
heckling the guest.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't come on this show and not get heckled. That's basically, hey, we're going to be like the two old dudes in the Muppet Theater,
There you go. Yeah.
Got to come up with some good puns. And then go, oh, after each joke. A structure with some cool stairs. That could happen. Awesome. Well, cool. This was a lot of fun, you guys. This was actually some really cool shapes that we did in here. I like it. A lot of intersecting and did some extensions. This was kind of a little bit of everything kind of thing. We started with
I'm a little disappointed that she didn't do the blades with all just native tools, but you know, whatever.
something could have been created, and it probably, you know, the funny thing is, I didn't want to do it because I wanted to get the detail in there. But the fact is, as soon as you come out like this far, I could have just push pulled and scaled some shapes and softened them, and they would look very similar. So, but I can turn this on, and oh yeah, look at that. Oh, look at all those polygons.
Ooh, so many polygons.
Okay, well, we'll wrap it here, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. This is a ton of fun. This is actually a very cool model. If I do say so myself, I always feel like I'm patting myself on the back when I'm like, hey, good job there. But I appreciate the input you guys brought and the support you gave. And hopefully, my goal with this always is that you enjoyed your time here and that you maybe learned something you could take away. That's the big piece. So yeah, so we will be seeing you all next week, right? Coming back, right? Yes?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll be here.
Hey, that's half the battle, getting Jody here. Whew. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you guys have a great week. Have an excellent weekend. Stay safe, stay sane, and we will see you then.
See you guys.